His gaze travelled west to the flat, dark land beyond, where the others were waiting. "Not much longer now," cooed the voice, a smile in its words. The boy smiled too. Turning to the dead body behind him, he grabbed an ankle and continued to drag it east. Part 1. Gods and Monsters. 1. Taesia Lestrida had never considered herself a good person, nor did she have any intention of becoming one. She was fine with that. Beyond the confines of her house's villa, she was freer to do whatever she wanted, be whomever she wanted. The last breath of summer's heat coiled around her as she shifted in the shadow of a market awning. Shoppers were buying melon juice and sarab, a clear Baritvian alcohol served with a pinch of orange-coloured spice that cooled the body down. Jewellery on a nearby cart glittered in the sunlight, cuffs of hammered silver and brass sending spangles into her vision. Taesia blinked and retreated even farther into the shade. It put her in view of the building she had been adamantly trying to ignore, but it was almost impossible to overlook the size of it, the swirling, conch-like design of shimmering sandstone, the length of the shadow it cast across the city of Nexus. It was quite lovely, for a prison, but crack that pretty shell open and all its filth would come pouring out, the discarded and condemned souls of Nexus's convicts. Someone bumped into her as they passed by, and the shadows twitched at her fingertips. She was so jumpy it took her a moment to realize it was merely a common thieves' tactic. Make someone paranoid enough to pat their trousers or their sleeves to know where to strike later. An amateur trick. It didn't matter there were more guards than usual patrolling the marketplace. Pickpockets would take any chance they could get. At the next stall over, a man was prying open boxes with a crowbar, chatting with a vendor as they checked the wares inside. "Would have gotten here sooner if I hadn't been held at the city gates," the man with the crowbar said. "Guards were sniffing around me like the dogs they are." "King's got 'em on alert." The vendor glanced at the nearest guards and lowered his voice. "Had an incident not too long ago. Some weird magic shit went down near the palace." "What kind of weird magic?" "Wasn't there myself, but sounds to me like it was necromancy. Folks say a bunch of spirits came and wrecked shit." "Spirits?" "Were the Vikaras acting up? I've heard they can kill with just a snap of their fingers." This caught Taesia's attention like thread on a nail. It was well known throughout Vega, as well as beyond its borders, that those who made up House Vikara, descended from the god of death, were the only ones who possessed the power of necromancy. It was also well known that once in a while, a stray spirit managed to wander from Nexus's overcrowded necropolis to cause trouble. But the incident the two men were gossiping about had been different. A sudden influx of violent spirits converging close to the palace square, destroying buildings and harming those unfortunate enough to be in their path. People had been rightfully terrified and confused about who to blame. "No idea," the vendor mumbled. "But it was nasty stuff. Heard a man got his arm ripped clean off. Whole city's going to be tighter than a clenched arsehole from now on." A tremor rolled across her body as Taesia turned back to the grave spire. When the vendor beside her wasn't looking, she grabbed a glass of sarab and downed it in one go, wiping her mouth with the back of her wrist. Citizens blaming the houses for their troubles wasn't anything new, but the thought of Risha getting caught up in it made her want to punch something. The shadows twitched again. Impatience crackled at the base of her lungs.